you guys are fine. Welcome back to my channel. If you're completely new to my channel or you already a member, please do subscribe to my channel, guys, because that is really gonna help me out. So I'll start in a minute. I generally start before the actual time, but today I started on time, so I need just 2 minutes more to start my live video. I just update in the group that I have already started. And in the meantime, if you want to join my WhatsApp group and get updates beforehand about my live classes, I'll share the link today again in my community post. Okay, I updated. Just give me one or 2 minutes more before I can start. So today I'll start with the materials. Let me just start in 2 minutes. Okay. So do let me know whether I'm audible, visible, if you are facing any problem, and also in these 2 minutes kindly subscribe to my channel because I really work hard with my crochet, and of course I love to crochet. That is a very important thing. This is a very important part of my life, so I don't miss to crochet a single day. Even on the day when I was traveling in my flights, I crocheted because I love it. Okay, so I'll start. So basically, guys, today I'm going to teach you how to make a sunglass holder. Okay, and in this process I will be teaching you how to join two granny squares together with slip stitches. So you can, in following this method, you can join as many granny squares as you want in order to make variety of crafts, starting from bags, purses, from blankets to sweaters, anything you can make with granny squares. So but you need to know how to join them. There are many ways of joining granny squares. Okay, I will be teaching you a very simple way of joining two granny squares together with slip stitches. If you guys already are crocheting since a while, you guys already know how to join them together. For beginners, I will be teaching you how to join granny squares together, and then I will be making that, convert it into a very pretty sunglass holder, because I personally need sunglass holder for myself, and I needed a fancy one. So I thought that crochet is the perfect craft to make a fancy sunglass holder. So in turn, I am helping myself while teaching you guys. So I chose a very simple pattern, the basic granny square. This is the basic granny square. However, you will get a bunch of granny square pattern in my channel, and you can make your own variant of sunglass holder or whatever you want. You can also use the same thing for storing your crochet hooks or craft materials inside the bag, or storing your makeup brushes inside it. You can use this particular craft in storing whatever you want. I personally will be storing my sunglasses in it. So let's start with the material. Basically, guys, I'm using 100% acrylic yarn. So finally I bought new yarns in USA. When I shifted to USA, I did not have much yarns with me. So hi Akshata. So I bought this perfectly 100% pure acrylic yarn. I never used this kind of yarn earlier when I was in India. So I don't know whether this is available everywhere or not. So the brand is Myra or Mira, I don't know the pronunciation, handcrafts, and this is actually 100% acrylic. So this, for the first time I am using 100% acrylic yarn. Okay, so I bought this in a thrift store, so the price was really low. It was around $5, right? For so many, I got 6 yarns for $5. So I think that is cheap enough. Now basically whenever you are buying yarns from I hope your yarn is thick, but mine is very thin. If your yarn is really thin, then you should use thin crochet hook. Okay, so accordingly use your yarn and hook. Your thin yarn and thin hook will lead to really smaller squares. Okay, so accordingly you should increase the rounds to make a bigger square. So you should practice. First you make a smaller square. With practice you will understand how to use your crochet hook and yarns together and make it into a useful craft. Okay, so don't worry, I will give you advices accordingly. So these yarns are really good. These are thick. What I wanted to share with you guys, in the yarns that you buy from online, they mention you the kind of hook that you use. So for this particular yarn, it is mentioned, where it's mentioned, yes, it is mentioned to use hook from 3.75 to 4.5 millimeter or this size length. But I personally prefer, I will be using a 3 millimeter hook because I want really tight squares, comparatively smaller. Okay, that's why I'm using a hook size that is slightly smaller than written here. It's written 3.75, but I will be using a 3 millimeter hook. I have other sizes also with me. I personally prefer this hook. I don't know why. So I will be using this one. So let's start with the craft, guys. I hope you understood how to select your yarn and hook. Even if it is not written in your yarn, simply place the hook and yarn side by side. The size of the hook and the yarn should be matching. It can vary little bit but not much. Okay, if you use thinner yarn compared to the thinner hook compared to the yarn, then your craft will be smaller, the stitches will be tighter. Okay, if you use a hook that is thicker than the yarn, then your stitches will be loose and your squares will be bigger. That is the only difference. You can experiment with different yarn and hooks to understand the concept. Okay, I hope I made my point clear related to the materials. Let's start. You will just require a yarn, a hook and your cutter. I don't think you don't need, I think you don't need anything else. You might require some needle, if one needle, if it is needed at all. At the end I'll see, otherwise it is not needed. So for making a sunglass pouch, we will require 4 squares. So I already made 3, 1, 2 and 3, and in order to save my time, I've already joined 2 squares together. So in this particular class, guys, I will be making one more square. I will be joining those 2 squares, the new one that I will be making, and join it with the one that is already there. With 2 pieces, I will place it on top and join the squares in 3 sides and do a nice border, not nice, normal border at the top with a loop and space, so you will understand. Let's start, guys. So we are going to make, thank you honey, so we are going to make the central portion at first. Of course, with granny squares you can start with chains. I personally prefer magic rings because whenever we are doing anything around a circle, I prefer using magic rings instead of chains. So let's start, guys. I hope you guys don't have any problem, any doubts. If you have, do share with me. In the meantime, I'm starting my craft. So we are going to start with magic ring. Remember that this live class is going to stay recorded in my channel for lifetime access. So whenever you want, you can just come back to my channel and view this video, this particular video. Just subscribe to my channel in order to make the process easier, and it will also help me in the process. So let's start making the magic ring. You will get a free written pattern in 2 days time. I will update that in my website. I'll be sharing the link in the community post also, so don't worry. Just stay in my channel, you will get notifications. So guys, for making a magic ring, I repeat this in every class whenever magic ring is required. I will be repeating this for 2 times. After that, you need to practice it and then proceed. Okay, if you are a beginner. So keep 2 fingers in this way. Place the yarn on top of both the fingers and hold it with your thumb. Okay, I'll do it slowly. Now grab the yarn and wrap it around your fingers, forming an X. Okay, like this. And turn and hold the larger end of the yarn with a ring finger and thumb. This is how you hold your yarn while making a magic ring. Take your crochet hook, place it below the first loop and then on top of the second one, right? And pull it and twist your hook. You can see 2 strands. One is for the larger and the lower is one for the shorter. Place your yarn below the top yarn, this one. Turn your hook sidewise to get a grip over the yarn and pull it through the loop that is already present in the hook. I will repeat it for one more time. Take out your fingers, pull the larger end of the yarn to make it tight, and if you see that the tail of the yarn is inside the circle, just take it out. So your magic ring is ready. This is known as magic ring, right? This is also known as adjustable ring. Why adjustable? Because if we pull the tail, the shorter end of the yarn is known as the tail. If we pull the tail of the circle, then the circle will become smaller in size, and if we pull the other side of the circle in this way, it will become larger in size. So the circle can be adjustable, so it is known as adjustable ring also. Why it is known as magic ring? Because magic ring or magic circle, if you take out your hook, pull the yarn and the larger end of the yarn apart. Oops, it will open up, but in case it got it formed a knot, so I'll share again. Keep your 2 fingers, place the yarn on top of it, hold it with your thumb. I'll repeat one more time, okay, to show you why it's known as magic ring. Wrap the yarn around both the fingers and turn and hold the larger end with your ring finger. Place the hook below the first loop and on top of the second and pull it. Twist your hook to form a loop around and pull the top yarn through that loop. And your magic ring is ready. I'll just show you why it is known as magic ring. Take out your hook and simply open up and it opens up completely. That's why it is known as magic ring. Earlier it formed a loop because I took the yarn out and did something, so it formed a loop, so don't worry about that. So I'll repeat for one more time, then I'll proceed directly with the first round. So place the yarn on top of your 2 fingers, hold it with your thumb. Just remember whatever I'm saying and repeat it. Grab the yarn and wrap it around both the fingers, forming an X, and turn and hold the larger end of the yarn with your ring finger. Insert the hook below the first loop and on top of the second. So below the top and on top of the second. Okay. Pull the second loop from below the first loop and twist your hook to form a loop in this way. Place the yarn below the larger end of the yarn. Place the hook. By mistake I said yarn. Place the hook below the larger end of the yarn and pull it through the loop that is already present in the hook. And your magic ring is ready. Just take out your finger and make it tight. Now we are going to start with the first round. Okay. Now guys, let's see. In the square, we are doing double crochet stitches. Okay. So whenever we are doing any rounds with double crochets, I personally prefer to start with chain 2 and consider that chain 2 as invisible stitch. Many people around the globe prefer to start with chain 3 and consider that chain 3 as a double crochet. I personally don't do that. I start with a chain 2. So if you're following my videos, it might be little different from someone else's video. It might match with someone else also. So accordingly, if you're following a particular person's video, then follow that method throughout. With time you'll understand and you'll choose your personal method to do. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'll start with a chain 2. I already have a loop around the hook. Place the yarn below the place the hook below the yarn, or place the yarn over the hook. It is also known as yarn over. So what are we going to do? Yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop that is already present in your hook. So you did chain 1, right? You will do one more chain, yarn over and pull the yarn that is already present in your pull the yarn that present in the loop that is already present in your hook. I don't know what I'm saying. I'll repeat again. After the magic ring, let's teach you how to hold your work. This is the yarn, right? Wrap the yarn around your index finger and secure it with your little finger and ring finger and hold your work, in this case my magic ring, with thumb and middle finger, right? So that you can easily pull the loop and you can pull it with your finger in both the direction in this way. So the best way to hold your yarn and hook depends on your personal preference, your comfort level. I personally prefer to hold it by wrapping it around my index finger and securing it with my little and ring finger and holding the magic ring with thumb and middle finger, so that I can easily pull the loop from both the ends, from the hook as well as from the hand. You need to practice it if you're a complete beginner. So let's start with chain 2. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop that is already present in your hook. Again yarn over and pull it through the loop that is already present in your hook. So we are having chain 2. Okay, now we are going to consider this chain 2 as invisible. Just forget that you did this. Okay, let's start with our pattern. I have written it down, but that will literally not make any sense to you, so I'll just show what I am going to do. I started with chain 2, right? After that, guys, I did a chain 2 here. Just forget about it. We will do 3 double crochets, 1, 2 and 3, right? After that we are going to do chain 2 for the space, then again 3 double crochets, again chain 2, again 3 double crochets, again chain 2, and then complete the round. So let's do it, guys. Hold your yarn and magic ring properly. Yarn over, insert your hook in the ring, right, and pull the yarn outside the ring. You will have 3 loops, 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Again yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. I will repeat it again slowly because we are going to have a set of 3 double crochets. So 1 double crochet already done. Yarn over, insert your hook in the magic ring. With your hook, pull the yarn outside the ring. You will have 3 loops, 1, 2 and 3. Yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops. And then yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. So 2 double crochets are already done. We will do 1 more double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the ring, pull the yarn outside the ring, yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops. yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. So we did 3 double crochets, right? After that we will do chain 2. So we already have 1 loop in the hook. Okay, yarn over, pull the yarn through that loop. So 1 chain done. We will do 1 more chain. I hope it's easy to understand. Just a practice for 1 or 2 days and you are good to go. The main thing to practice as a beginner is to hold the yarn properly and practice your beginner stitches. Practice holding it, pulling your yarn through the loops is the main thing to practice as a beginner. So let's start with the next set of 3 double crochets. After the chain 2, yarn over, insert your hook in the ring, pull the yarn outside, yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, and yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. Done. We will do 2 more double crochets. So I'll just increase the speed a little bit. We did our next set. After the second set, again we will be doing chain 2. So yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop that is already present in your hook and repeat it for 1 more time. I want to make the circle little bit shorter. So pull the tail of the circle to make it smaller in size. Yarn over, insert your hook in the ring, pull the yarn outside and do your double crochet. Do 2 more double crochets. I hope by this time you understood how to do double crochet stitches. If you are doing along with me and you are stuck with your first double crochet, then just observe the video at first, understand the concept and then proceed. Then chain 2 after the third set. Now we are going to do the last set of 3 double crochets. Yarn over, insert the yarn in the insert the hook in the magic ring and pull the yarn outside. Yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. So first double crochet done. Let's do 2 more double crochets. So 1 and the last one. After the last set, do your last chain 2. Now I'm going little bit faster. If you want me to repeat anything, do let me know. Now what we are going to do, we are going to close this particular opening. So we will pull the tail of the magic ring tightly in order to close the opening. Make sure that it is tight. See, it is closed. Now guys, we are going to complete this round. After cutting the yarn, I will not be able to repeat this round. Okay, just observe. So at first we did a chain 2, then our first double crochet, right? So chain 2 and then the first double crochet stitch. Insert your hook in that first double crochet stitch. Just forget about the chain 2 as I mentioned earlier. Insert your hook in the first double crochet stitch and complete the round 1 with a slip stitch. So we inserted it, pull the yarn through that stitch outside. Okay, now you can see that there are 2 loops in the hook, first loop and second loop. Pull the first loop through the second loop. So this is how you do a slip stitch. Whenever we are ending any round or joining it to any stitch, we use slip stitch. Okay, after the slip stitch, since we are not going to proceed with white color anymore, we are going to end the use of white color now. So we are going to do a chain 1 after the slip stitch. So whenever you are ending your round and cutting the yarn, you are going to do a slip stitch to any stitch, the first stitch always. Then do a chain 1. I already did a chain 1 and now I will cut the yarn. Now I cannot repeat the first round anymore since I have already cut the yarn. Pull it, make it tight. Okay, this is how you complete your first round. So it appears like a small square. So right now the square shape is not visible properly. we will proceed to one more round, then the square shape will start appearing perfectly. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I slip stitch in this particular stitch, right? So insert the hook from below in this particular stitch and pull the yarn in this way. So this is how we do our first round. Now guys, we are going to proceed. We are going to change colors. We will be doing 2 more rounds with pink color. Okay, as you can see, 1 round, 2 round and 3 round, right? For joining the color 2 guys, we will at first make a slip knot. So just observe, I will be doing this once now and another time with the blue colored yarn while making the border. So I'll show that to you again. So don't worry. Just wrap the yarn around your index finger in the same way as you did your magic ring, okay, forming an X. Make sure that this portion is slightly long like this. Wrap it around your finger and hold it with your thumb and middle finger. Now pull the first loop so that easily you can insert your finger through it and pull the second loop from below in this way. And with the other hand, pull the shorter end of the yarn. Pull them apart and your slip knot is ready. This is a slip knot. Like a magic ring, this can also open up into a normal yarn. Okay, so let's repeat it. I hope you just need to practice once for making the slip knot. Insert the hook in this loop. Pull the larger, hi Bindu, how are you? Pull the larger end of the yarn. See, your slip knot is tight. Now we are going to connect this new yarn to our square. So if you have joined this live late, don't worry, this is going to stay forever for lifetime access in my channel with the same link, so don't worry. Now we are going to place our hook having this new yarn below the chain 2 space, below any chain 2 space of your choice of the first round. Place the yarn on top of the space and pull the yarn with your hook outside. I am going slowly, so don't worry. Now you are going to do a slip stitch. So pull the first loop through the second one. And your slip stitch is done. So you joined a color 2 to your color 1 already. Then guys, since this round is also a round of double crochets, so we will start with a chain 2. So 1 and 2. Forget that you did chain 2, right? Now we are going to, now let me share the pattern with you. As you can see in this square, we are going to have 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in each and every chain 2 space of the first round. Okay, so let's proceed. Do along with me. Wait for the written pattern. It will be available soon. Yarn over. Insert your hook in the same chain 2 space. Pull the yarn outside the chain 2 space. You have 3 loops. Yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops. And then yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. So first double crochet done. Let's do 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. So 3 double crochets are done. After 3 double crochets, pull them slightly to this side. Do your chain 2 for the chain 2 space. Especially this is the corner of the square, right? Then again 3 double crochets in the same chain 2 space. So 1, 2 and 3. I hope by this time you should know how to do double crochets. So guys, we completed our set of 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in the chain 2 space. Now classic granny squares, solid granny squares have variety of patterns. Variety of patterns means here I have used 3 double crochets followed by chain 2 and I am going to maintain it. But in many pattern you will see 3 double crochets followed by chain 3. So you can, if you make chain 3, then your squares will be slightly bigger, slightly flattened. It's your choice. I personally wanted a tight stitch, less spacious one. So that's why I chose chain 2. So it's your choice. But at first, if you are just a beginner right now, just follow whatever I am doing. You with time, with practice, you will get to know many patterns of the same thing, and then you can practice accordingly. Okay, I am doing chain 2. In some of my other videos of classic granny squares, I have used chain 3. They also have mentioned that you can play with patterns. Okay, let's proceed to the next chain 2 space. Yarn over, insert your hook in the next space. Pull the yarn and do your double crochets. So we are going to do 3 double crochets. Right? 3 done. Then we are going to do chain 2. 1 and 2. And again 3 double crochets in the same space. So 1, 2 and 3. So I have increased the speed already, guys. If you are a beginner, just write down in the chat section. I will repeat for you how to do a double crochet once slowly. Guys, the second set is also done. Now we will move on to the third chain 2 space and do our third set of 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Okay, yarn over, insert your hook in the next space, pull the yarn outside and do your double crochet. Do 2 more double crochets, so 1 and 2, so 3 are done. Then guys, chain 2 as usual and again 3 double crochets. 1, 2 and 3. Okay, and then we are going to move on to the last space. The pattern is exactly same, and see, now it appears to be a square. Okay, not, and of course an incomplete one. We are going to complete it soon. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next space, pull the yarn outside, yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops and then through the last 2 loops. Repeat it for 2 more times for 2 more double crochets. Sorry for this thing. This is something new that came up. I never thought that here also we'll get these kind of joints. Just cut it out to avoid any untidiness. We are going to do our third, yarn over, insert your hook in the space, pull the yarn outside and do your third double crochet. Done. And then chain 2, yarn over, I'm going slowly now, insert your hook in the space, pull the yarn outside, you have 3 loops, yarn over and pull it through the first 2 loops, yarn over and pull it through the last 2 loops. This is how you do double crochets. We are going to do 2 more double crochets in the same space according to the pattern. If you guys have already practiced few crochet crafts, then this is another nice practice craft that you can do. This is going to be easy thing to do, and of course a beginner friendly craft. So now we have completed all the stitches in this round. So what are we going to do? We are going to complete this round with a slip stitch. Now preferably guys, whenever I do slip stitches, I insert the hook in both the loops of that particular stitch and pull the yarn through it, right? But since we are going to continue the next round also with the pink colored yarn, so what am I going to do? Let me just tell you what I'm planning to do. I will slip stitch through this stitch, through the next stitch, through the third stitch also, and then in the chain 2 space, and then start our round 3. So we are going to have 4 slip stitches. And above all, I will do the slip stitch in the second loop, not in the entire stitch, but we are going to insert the hook in between the stitch and take it out through the second loop. It will give a neat and clean effect. Okay, so what am I going to do? You can see that each stitch has got 2 loops. Insert your hook through midway and take it out through the second loop in this way. Pull the yarn outside that loop and do your slip stitch. You guys already know how to do a slip stitch. If you want, you can do the slip stitch in the entire stitch also. This will not affect much, but I think you can practice like this. If you're not comfortable, insert your hook in the entire stitch in this way and do your slip stitch. Okay, but for a change, you can do one thing. Insert your hook in between, take it out through the second loop, pull the yarn outside that loop and pull the first loop in your hook through the second one. So in this way, the slip stitches will remain literally invisible. Means it will not be that much visible. No one will understand that you did a slip stitch. Okay, let's do our third slip stitch in the second loop again, and then another slip stitch in the chain 2 space. So we reached our position where we will be beginning our third round. Okay, so in third round, pattern is slightly different. Not completely different, slightly. So we have reached the chain 2 space. In the chain 2 space, of course, the pattern is exactly same as the previous round. There is 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. See, exactly same. Then we will move on to the space between 2 sets and do 3 double crochets there. Then we will move on to the next chain 2 space and repeat the pattern. I am doing it with me. Do along with me, or just observe whatever I am doing. Let's start. We are going to start with chain 2, of course, as this is a round of double crochet again. Then yarn over in the same space. We are going to have 3 double crochets. Right now, you guys already know how to do double crochets, right? So 3 double crochets, chain 2. I've already shown you how to do chains. And then again 3 double crochets in the same space. 1, yarn over, insert your hook in the space, pull the yarn outside, yarn over, pull it through the first 2 loops and then through the next 2 loops. We are going to have 1 more double crochets. Oops. So what we had in this particular chain 2, we had 3 double crochets, chain 2 and 3 double crochets. Now in this particular opening space between 2 sets of corner stitches, we are going to have 3 double crochets there. So 1, 2 and 3. Right? Now let's move on to the next chain 2 space and do our corner stitches, that is 3 double crochets. I have increased the speed, sorry for that guys. Followed by chain 2, 1 and 2 and 3 double crochets. Now if you guys are new to crocheting bags, so this is a perfect thing to begin with. First learn how to join the granny squares together, then proceed in making a purse, then make a tote bag. So step by step you should do. Right away don't start with big bags. And above all, I feel it little bit lazy to do big crafts in live classes or crochet. Right? So don't worry, I will be doing that, but it will take little time for me to plan it out and to do the squares beforehand. right? So I cannot do total 18 squares in the live class. I will do only one, then I'll join the remaining, right? So it will take time for me also. So 3 double crochets done. So what are we doing? The corner stitch, side stitch and corner stitch. Again we are going to have a side stitch. So there, in that space between two sets, insert your hook and do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. See? And you are going to proceed to the next corner. Here again 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3, followed by chain 2 and again 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. See, we have completed 2 complete sides and 3 corners. Okay, now let me just tell you one thing. So this is the third round. So I will not be doing a fourth round. I'm going to be limited to 3 rounds granny square. In order to increase your rounds, like someone said that her yarn is thinner, right? So her square will be smaller. So she needs a bigger square. Okay. So in order to, oops, the last stitch opened up, so I'll repeat it again. Anyways, so I'll just tell you one thing and then I'll repeat it again in the after completing it. So in order to increase the next round, what will she do? Of course, if you are going to continue with the same color, then you are going to slip stitch through the first 3 stitches and then move to the chain 2 space, right? Then do your corner stitch. Then you're going to get 2 spaces for the side, right? This space and this space. So in each of these 2 spaces in the next round, you're going to have 3 double crochets in each one of them. Like in the round 3, we had 1 double crochet as a side stitch because I had only 1 space here. But for the next round, you're going to have 2 spaces. So you're going to have 2 such 3 double crochet sets. So while doing, you will understand it. Okay, so let's complete the round 3. 1, 2. I have a granny square pattern. I can share that again if it comes to my, if I don't forget about it. Anyways, let's complete this corner stitch because one stitch opened up. Then guys, in the space, you have only 1 space. So here we are going to have 3 double crochets. So we have 1 space for this side. So we are going to have only 1 set of 3 double crochets. I hope you understood how you can proceed to the next round for making a bigger square. In the next corner, we are going to have, of course, the corner stitches, that is 3 double crochets. And chain 2 and 3 double crochets. So like this. And then the last side space, here we are going to do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 and 3. In this way we completed it. Of course, we are going to do a slip stitch. Now guys, since I'm not going to continue the rounds anymore, so I am just ending it in here. So I will insert the hook through both the loops of the stitch, the first double crochet stitch. Just keep the chain 2, insert your hook in the first double crochet of the round, pull the yarn through it and do your slip stitch. do the chain 1, of course, with after the slip stitch. If you are a beginner, blindly follow whatever I'm doing. You don't have to think much. So after the slip stitch, do a chain 1 and cut the yarn. Pull the loop in this way without taking out your hook, and pull the yarn tightly to make the stitch tight. So our square is ready. Insert your hook from below in the same stitch where you did your slip stitch, and wrap the yarn around your hook and pull the yarn backwards. So this will make our work look neat and clean. So our square is ready. So today's class is going to be slightly lengthy. It's already 45 minutes. But I will prefer to complete this entire craft in one class. So it might be 1 hour class. So give me 15 minutes more. So guys, this is the top portion. What type of yarn you used, ma'am? I actually used 100% pure acrylic yarn. If you have access to 100% pure cotton yarn, then that is a very good choice. The size is mentioned here. It's a 3DK light worsted yarn. I bought this in USA. You can get similar things in India too if you buy it from India. So, or use a normal wool that is available in the local market. The 4-ply yarn, use 3mm hook with it. I have used 3mm hook with this type of yarn also. So now we are going to join 2 squares. The back side should be on top of both the squares and the top portion should be inside. Okay, this is how you should join it. Place it in this manner. I will be using the same pink color. If you want, you can use a different colored yarn. Make a slip knot, place it on your finger, wrap it around it forming an X. Pull the first loop, insert your finger through the first loop and pull the second loop from below in this way, and with your other finger pull the larger end of the yarn. So this is how you make a slip knot. I've already taught you how to do this, so I'm not going to repeat it again. Okay, in this way we did our slip knot. I hope my video is visible and I'm audible. And guys, please do subscribe to my channel, because that is really going to help me to grow my channel in the long run, because I really want to continue teaching you guys through my YouTube channel, and this is really a stress buster for me and I would love to see it grow. Okay guys, so let's start joining it. At first we will place it on top of it uniformly. Insert your hook through the chain 2 space of the top square and take it out through the chain 2 space of the other square. So we are going to join it using slip stitches only. There are many ways of joining squares: by slip stitches, by single crochets, or simply by sewing it together with your needle. I will be joining this with slip stitches. Okay. Place the yarn on top of the chain 2 spaces and pull it through both the chain 2 space of both the squares. Pull the first loop through the second one. We are not going to do chain 1 now. Since we are going to have slip stitches in each and every stitch, so we are not going to join it. Now guys, we are going to insert our hook in the second loop of the first square and the first loop of the second square. We are not going to do the slip stitches in both the loops of the stitch, but through the second loop. Pull the yarn and do your slip stitches. If you want, you can choose to do the slip stitches through the entire stitch. It's your personal choice. I am going to use the loops only. The loops that are on top of it. So you can see 4 loops, 1 2 3 and 4. So what I'm doing, inserting my hook through the second loop and taking it out through the third one visible, like this. Okay, and pull it and do your slip stitch. If you want, you can insert your hook entirely through the stitches, right? It's your choice. I am not doing it like that. Again, insert your hook in the second loop of the first square and visibly the first loop of the second square, and do your slip stitch. Repeat it with your other stitches also. In this way. Can you single? Of course you can do single crochet stitches. It's your choice. Single crochet will also give a very pretty pattern. So you can play with different stitches. You can do slip stitches also. You can do single crochet also. Like I'm going to use single crochet for joining the sides. So in that case I will be doing single crochets. But in joining these two squares I'm using slip stitches. Of course you can do single crochets also. So it's your choice. So I'm going to just show you two techniques of joining the squares, one by slip stitch and the other side with single crochet also. I will be showing that today itself. So now let's continue. Insert your hook through the second loop of the first square and first loop of the second square, because those are closer to each other, and do your slip stitches. There are a variety of techniques of joining squares together, you know. In this way, we are completing our slip stitches one by one till we reach the chain 2 space. Make sure that you don't skip any stitch. So I have done all the stitches. Now I'll move on to the chain 2 space. Take it out through the chain 2 space of the first square and through the chain 2 space of the second square. Take the yarn outside, do my slip stitch and do my chain 1. Finally, to complete it, cut the yarn and pull the loop. Make it tight. In this way, we have joined both the squares together. If you are doing single crochets, you can also place the back side on top and the inside portion here, this should be on top, and you can do single crochets on top. So it's your choice what kind of stitches you are using, single crochet or slip stitches. It's your preference. I can show examples. Slowly I can proceed, not in one day. All the examples will not be shown. So guys, so both the surfaces are ready. So you do one thing. I think like this. This should be the top. Okay. So place the back side in the internal portion now. Now what am I going to do? I will start with with a slip stitch in the two opposite spaces. Continue with single crochet throughout till I reach here, and then I will be doing a border around. Okay, here I will be using another color, the blue color. I am going to keep myself limited to pink, white and sky blues to make it an aesthetic cover. If you want, you can use white also. That will also give a very beautiful end result. However, I want a slight color changing, so I am using a blue colored yarn. Of course, I am going to start with a slip knot like this. Insert your hook in the loop and make it tight. Just cut out some extra portion of the yarn because it's looking neat and clean. Now we are going to join. So we joined two squares together already. If you want to make a bigger square with 4 such squares, right, in this way, so either you can do slip stitches like I did, and do slip stitches and join it together, make it constant. But since I'm going to make it a border, so I'm using a single crochet stitch. So let's start joining from here, and I'll show you how it looks different from slip stitches. Okay, so insert your hook. Oops, I hope it's visible. Insert your hook in the first chain 2 space of the square and opposite chain 2 space of the other one, and of course start with a slip stitch. Now since this is going to be a round of single crochet, so after the slip stitch we are going to do a chain 1 to secure the slip stitch. Again in the same space insert your hook, pull the yarn outside and do your single crochet stitch. So now we have done our first single crochet. Okay guys, let's proceed with the stitches. This is going to be a border, so I'm going to insert my hook through the entire stitch of the first square and the entire stitch of the next square, and do my single crochet. Slowly I will be doing single crochets in this way, that is, insert my hook in the first stitch, again insert my hook through the opposite stitch. Make sure you don't skip any stitch. Do your single crochet in this way. I will also bring up a slightly bigger bag so that I can share with you by joining 4 squares together with the same type of stitches. This is a different craft, so different pattern. Okay, insert your hook through the next stitch, take it out through the opposite and do your single crochet in this way. See, it appears like this. Slowly we are proceeding till we reach the chain 2 space. Now in this chain 2 space insert your hook and do your single crochet. So the first set done. Let's move on to the next one. Just observe. Oops. Insert your hook through the adjacent square chain 2 space and through the opposite chain 2 space and do your next single crochet. Done, and continue as earlier. Through each opposite stitches you are going to have 1 single crochet like this. Make sure that you don't skip any stitch in the opposite stitches, otherwise you will have to open it up because it will look untidy. See, in this way we are being able to join our stitches in a very neat and clean way. Insert your hook in the first square stitch. Did I miss any stitch? I think I missed, that's why. Sorry guys, I think I missed a stitch. I had to open it up. Oh, I forgot to insert it in the first stitch, sorry. Insert your hook in the opposite stitch guys. I missed a stitch, so I had to open it up. That's why my stitches were not looking correct and uniform. Sorry for that guys, mistake happens, right? Insert your hook in the opposite stitch so that you don't skip any. If you find that you have skipped it, then immediately open it up. Otherwise it is not going to look neat and clean. In some cases, I found that I additionally did some stitches in the earlier round. So there I found that there were extra stitches. So I had to do some kind of cheating to keep up my work. But in this case, I simply skipped my stitch. So I had to open it up. So insert your hook in the two opposite stitches. Done. Now we are going to reach our corner stitch. So let me just show you how it appears. So from top, since we did it, it appears like a line, okay? But from inside, it is barely visible, okay? So if you want your stitch, single crochet stitch to appear like this, whenever you are joining your squares, like someone asked if you can join using single crochets also. If you're using the same color and join the single crochet of with the top portion outside, then it will appear like a bridge kind of thing, a ridge or bridge, okay? But the back side, it is barely visible, okay? I did my slip stitch by keeping the top side at the inside portion and did my slip stitch. So from inside, the slip stitch will appear like this, but barely visible from top. So it's your wish, right? What kind of stitch you want to do, because every stitch has got a pattern to itself. If you're doing single crochets, I prefer doing single crochet in the borders because it gives a very nice rich type of effect, okay? So I prefer this, but for joining two such squares which are in between, I don't prefer single crochets in that case. So you can experiment with it with different surfaces, right? And play with the pattern. I hope I made my point clear. Let's continue. Now guys, here I started with one single crochet in the chain 2, okay, in the chain 2 space. This is a side stitch. In this chain 2 space also I had one single crochet and continued with one single crochet in the chain 2 space. But in the last case guys, we will be having two single crochets. Why? Let me do the first one. Insert your hook in the chain 2 space and do your single crochet. So the first side ends, okay? Now we will begin the next side. Begin the next side with another single crochet in the same chain 2 space, right? Continue with your stitches. I hope you are understanding. So it's crochet, just practice the patterns based just practice, experiment with different type of joining patterns, okay? Make many squares, try to join them with different techniques. Let's continue with our stitches in the opposite stitch. Take it out through the stitches and do your single crochets. Make sure that you don't skip any stitch like me. If you skip, then you'll have to open it up again. However, it does not take much time and crochet stitches can be easily opened up, isn't it? Insert your hook through the opposite stitches and do single crochets carefully like this. In this way. So slowly we are doing it. Of course, you can do different patterns. I did a basic granny square. You can do it using a sunburst granny square, like the one I shared in the group. That is not a sunburst one, that is a flower one, a flower granny square. So you can play with various granny square patterns available online. In this week, I will bring up a class on heart granny square. The heart that was shared in the group, that is an easy one. So I'll continue. So, oh, 1 hour passed, right? Sorry guys, it will take just 10 more minutes. If you guys have time, you can continue, because I will be sharing the border portion with you guys. Okay. So this round also side also completed, but we will complete with the single crochet in the chain 2 space. We will have one more single crochet in the chain 2 space. If you're not understanding why we did 2 single crochets at the bottom stitches, just do blindly follow it, and slowly you will understand it. Let's continue guys with the next side. Insert your hook in the opposite stitches and do your single crochets. If you miss any stitch, open it up and do it. Just like I did, in this way. Okay, insert your hook in the opposite stitches and do your single crochet. I prefer doing single crochet stitches in the granny bags at the borders. In some of my crafts guys, I did single crochets in the mid portion, because in that case I wanted to show that rich type of effect in between the stitches, because in many time you guys will need various kind of textures to your work that will add another level of beauty to your work. So accordingly choose your stitches. Start with small crafts like these and then proceed to the bigger ones in this way. Okay, so all the stitches are done for the stitches for the opposite stitches. Now insert your hook in the chain 2 space and do your one single crochet. Move to the next chain 2 space of the square 2, and again through the next chain 2 space of the other square and do your another single crochet, right? And then we are left with the last bit of squares. Then we will be doing border. Okay, insert your hook in the opposite stitch as usual and do your single crochets. We are just about to complete our craft, so just have little bit of patience and it will be done. So by this time you guys know what I'm doing. I'm just, oops, there has been, just wait a second guys, some kind of knot formation has taken place in my yarn. I don't know how to tackle with it. If I'm not being able to open it up, then I'll cut the yarn. I think I'll cut the yarn because I don't have time for tackling that knot thing right now. So insert your hook in the next stitch of the first square and the opposite stitch of the square 2 and take the yarn through it and do your single crochet. So repeat it for the next square, sorry, next stitch, next 2 opposite stitches and do your single crochet. I think I have repeated my mistake. Sorry guys, I repeated the mistake again. I forgot to consider the first stitch again. So insert your hook in the first stitch, take it out through the opposite stitch and do your single crochet. I had to open it up. This is the common mistake that I do while joining my crochets. Thankfully I did it in front of you so that you can understand where you also might have gone wrong if you repeat that mistake at all. So insert your hook in the opposite stitches and do your single crochet. Main thing is don't skip any stitch, otherwise you will have to open it up like me and continue as usual. So done perfectly. So I did some mistakes. I have redone those to rectify them, and the main purse is ready. So let's do my single crochet stitch in the opposite chain 2 space and share with you something. So guys, our three sides are joined. Okay, so now easily you can insert your sunglass through it. Let me see where my sunglass is to simply show you whether it fits inside the bag or not. So this is my sunglass. Let's see whether it fits inside the bag or not. Accordingly guys, make your sunglass case so that it easily fits it inside your thing. If it doesn't, then make a bigger square. So I think my one works well, that's why I chose a 3 round square. Now guys, let's start with the borders. So what am I going to do at the top portion? At one side I am going to make a space in the mid portion, and at the other side I am going to make a loop. Okay, so just see whatever I am doing. Now we are not going to work through opposite stitches. We are going to work through only this side, right? So just observe. First observe. Insert your hook in the same chain 2 space of the first square and do your single crochet there. One single crochet only. Let's count. I did one single crochet. 1 done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. There will be total 11 stitches. So let me just write it down and see how we can make our loop. Yesterday I did it. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So one single crochet in each one of them like this. Okay, so what am I going to do? I did already 1. We are going to do 4 more. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's do 4 more stitches. Whenever you are making your own pattern, draw it like this as I have done. So already I have done 1 stitch in the chain 2 space. So we are going to do 1 stitch in each and every 4 stitch. So 1 done. Insert your hook in the next one also. Pull the yarn outside and do your single crochet. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Right? So how many stitches did we do in this side? We did 1 in the chain 2 space, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 already done. Then guys, we are going to do chain 1 and 2 and 3. I suppose 3 stitches are enough. 3 chains, right? You'll do 3 chains after that. Then guys, skip the middle stitch. Just skip it. Okay. Then in the following stitch, do 1 single crochet. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet. In the following stitch, 1 single crochet. In the following stitch again, 1 single crochet. And then in the chain 2 space, 1 single crochet. So what we did, we made a border with a loop. So easily either you can insert a button through it, or I will be making a bigger loop that I'm going to pass through it at the back side. We are now going to proceed to this side of the border. So how am I going to do it? Just turn your work and in the chain 2 space of the other square, do 1 single crochet. See, I'm proceeding. So at the back side also guys, let's draw. There we are going to have again 11 things. I've already done one. So what am I going to do? One single crochet, slips. Okay, so guys, I did one single crochet on already. I will be doing 4 more. Just observe. In the next stitch, 1 single crochet. In the following stitch, 1 single crochet. In the following stitch, 1 single crochet. And then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, right? So how many did I do in this side? If you're confused, observe this video for this part of the video for 2 to 3 times, then you'll understand. We are actually doing a border. So we did 1 single crochet in the chain 2 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 done, right? In the next space, we are going to do 1 single crochet. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 more chains will be done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So total 20 chains I did. Fold it and see that how it looks. I think this is big enough, right? Insert your hook in the same stitch and do a slip stitch. Done. And then proceed with the remaining single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is how my border looks like. Sorry guys if the video got paused. Now we are just going to complete our round with a slip stitch. So insert your hook in the first single crochet of this round. That is the first single crochet where you began this bordering thing. Pull the yarn through it. Do your slip stitch. Do your chain 1. Just observe, just hear whatever I'm saying. Slip stitch, chain 1. Cut the yarn. Pull the loop without taking out your hook. Make it tight. And your main craft is ready. Now we will just pull this stitch inside. Insert your hook in the same stitch but from below so that you can pull it at the back side. So it will get hidden inside. Okay. So this is how it looks. This is a very beautiful bag, a very useful one because this is really going to protect your sunglass because it is going to provide a cushion inside, right? This is made up of acrylic yarn. If you make it with a cotton yarn also, that will also provide a cushion type of effect. Insert your goggles inside, goggles or sunglass, whatever, or your main reading glass or your makeup brushes, anything. Just put it inside. This is your loop. Take it out through the space that you made in the opposite side and it is closed. See, it will now not come out. So that's it. We easily made a sunglass in for this live it took more than a hour, but with my speed I can make a sunglass cover in 1 hour. Okay, because here I took time to teach and explain few things, but once you learn it you can make a cover in less than 1 hour and it's really looking pretty, right? Thank you so much. So this is really looking cute. Of course you can use it yourself, you can sell it because this is really looking pretty. Use this simple squares like granny squares. It is looking simple yet cute, right? Otherwise you can also use the difficult ones also, like hearts or sunflower or daisy. Play with different patterns. So that's it guys, my craft ends here. I hope you liked this live. if you have still not subscribed to my channel, then I will request you guys to subscribe, because that is really going to help me, because I earn through YouTube also. So that is going to help me in earning as well as in growing my channel. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, bye, take care. Now I'm going to end the live.